Meet our crew podcast. We are the change we desire to see in this world. If you won't change, you have to be the change. We are looking for 3 more hosts to join our team. If you have a message for the world and would like to be a part of the hottest new podcast and media network rocking the podcast world right now, join Da Crew Podcast and Media Network. Looking for a little exposure? Allow each TIA Enterprises the opportunity to share your brand around the world. We will work with you to develop a package that fits your budget. Contact IHEART via email and schedule a consultation. Crew Podcast 2003@gmail.com. We are the change we desire to see.
Are you tired of the burden of past financial mistakes weighing you down? Look no further than BHG Credit Solutions, the industry leader in credit repair. We understand the challenges you face: charge-offs, late payments, bankruptcy, and those daunting student loans, but don't let them define your financial future. Here at BHG Credit Solutions, we've got your back. Our team of dedicated professionals specializes in turning credit adversity into opportunity. We'll work tirelessly to dispute inaccuracies, negotiate with creditors, and to develop personalized strategies tailored to your unique situation. Our proven track record speaks for itself. Countless satisfied clients have seen their credit scores soar.
Welcome to Triggered Reactions with Lisa Hopkins, where we explore our ability to overcome our trauma. Welcome.
Lisa, you are muted. We cannot hear you. Lisa, you are muted. We cannot hear you. She can't hear me. Lisa. This girl on here. Hello. The whole, she not listening. I'm Lisa. I'm taking it. You can't. Can you hear me, ma'am?
I can hear you, but I
You
can't
can
hear
hear
Lisa.
me. Lisa cannot hear us. She can't hear me. She cannot hear because she's still talking. I don't know what's going on, but she cannot hear. So
Maybe do you want to send her a text message?
Me? Tasman?
Yes.
Welcome.
We can
welcome,
hear you now.
Welcome.
We cannot hear you. This whole time you've been live, we cannot hear you.
Okay. Well, at this time, I would like to welcome my illustrious guest. This is the amazing Miss Tasman Imani. And I would like for her to come in her own special way and introduce herself and tell us a little about her.
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Tasman Imani. I live in Torrance, California, and I'm a life insurance agent working with Kempa Life. As a human being, I believe in doing morally correct. I believe in justice. I believe in kind-hearted people. I just believe in kindness.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate you for your willingness to come on this platform today and share with each and every person who will be listening to this broadcast.
Thank you.
Um, the title of our podcast today is Final Expense. Many people know that in a time of need, we have to do what is best for our loved ones. Today, Ms. Tasmin Imani will be sharing with us a little bit about what final expense is.
So, my first question to everybody listening, are you prepared for final expenses? So, you'll be asking, what is final expenses? Final expenses is when we are no longer here and we need to be buried. And do we have the funds? Did we prepare ourselves to be buried? Or did we prepare ourselves for cremation? Did we prepare for ourselves to leave what is needed for the loved ones behind? So this is final expenses.
Thank you so much. I understand that you mentioned something about having loyalty and compassion. So when a person calls you and they say they are in need of help for their loved one that just passed away, what do you do for them?
The first thing with me is the only reason they will call me because I will be their agent. Because they will be looking for their final expenses. They will be looking my company to take them to the final expenses, to their last, to their burial, or to the cremation, or whatever the need they have. So that's when I pick up the phone, I'll call them, I'll sympathize with them, and then I'll do what is needed on my side. I will never say that this is not my job, because it is a part of my job, and as a human being, it makes me stand right there with them, so that during this difficult time, during this stressful time, I, as an insurance agent, stand strong and willing to do what needs to be done to ease out the pain of my clients. I will call my insurance company, immediately notify of the death, and make sure that we have the policy in hand, the beneficiary in hand, and the face amount in hand where this policy needs to go.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit about why people need to be prepared?
People need to be prepared. First thing, this is the final expenses. We worked all our life hard. We gave it to everybody. We raised our kid. Some of us raised our parents. Some of them raised our nieces and nephews. Some of them raised our whole world, whoever we could. But at the end, we need to be prepared to be buried or cremated as well. So for that, we need to prepare. And to prepare, we need to buy. If you don't have enough the cash, or you don't want to use your cash, you can buy a policy, and that policy will take you to the final expenses. That's your preparation. And if you have
Excuse me.
your family, you want to leave something behind, protect your family so they are not in distress, you could leave something behind for them, especially for the young ones. When there is babies in the house, imagine when there's babies in the house, there is a wife in the house who doesn't have a job, there's a mom in the house who don't have nothing. But if you had enough protection, enough coverage, that will give them some relief.
Right. And how much coverage would you say is actually needed?
What's it needed? The coverage needed is depends on you. You have to decide how much coverage is needed. There is a final expenses that is taken on you, then how much you want to leave behind for your loved ones not to struggle, at least for a time being, so that they can stand back on their feet. So this is something that you decide. And for you to decide, I'll be there. I will I will assist you. I will let you decide. I'll give you the numbers, and I'll try to figure it out with you to make it easy for you what is needed and how much you can afford.
Okay. Now, what if somebody were to come to you and say, "Oh, well, we have our money and we know what we need to do, but we don't have a church, we don't have a pastor, we don't have a preacher or anybody to do this." Do you guys ever provide help with that type of thing?
We are an insurance company. We do not provide this kind of help, but for my knowledge, I will definitely jump on Google as a human being, and
Thank you.
I'll call some of the chef services.
Okay, I chose a scripture, and it comes from Matthew 22 and 44, and it says, "Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh." So, that in the spiritual sense tells us that we need to have a relationship with God or Jesus Christ so that our soul will be ready to go where it's supposed to be. But also in our time and our day to day, we need to be ready for when a loved one passes away. So the scripture tells us that scripture for a time for us to be ready for God, but it also tells us that because we have to be ready morally for our families. So I thank you so much for being a willing vessel for people that may need the help, people that need to have their finances in order for families. It's a real blessing to have people that work in your field. Um, I would like to know what happens when a family doesn't have insurance. What happens with those bodies when people don't have insurance?
So I've been in this business for the last 12 to 15 years, and I have seen it all. There is so much going on behind the scenes when this doesn't happen. This happens is either they do bakery sale, they do car washing, or or they do a GoFundMe page, which GoFundMe page is very difficult now.
Hmm.
And there is a lot of people who are so ignorant that they let the loved ones sit in the morgue for months and
Oh,
months and months. My heart cries. I mean, I cannot believe when I hear. It tears me apart that
yes,
they'll say they do not have the finances for the burial. They do not have the finances for the final expense. So they're letting their loved ones sit in the morgue. They are sitting somewhere. I don't know. To me, I feel like I cannot sleep. We all want a foreclosure. The faster
right.
the foreclosure, the better it is. So, in order to do this, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for your loved ones, your parents, your surroundings, whoever you love, whoever you are in charge, and your friends. Spread the word around to your friends, to your great great parents, to everyone. They
Yes.
have to be prepared for this moment.
Yes. And many of us, those who are listening, I know that you can probably recall at least one time or two times where a loved one has passed on and siblings and family members, they go on to have arguments and they're fighting over stuff and things are not in order and everybody is frustrated. I was talking to Miss Imani and she was telling me how things went when her mom passed, and I would like to know if she would like to share that.
Definitely, I'd like to do that. When my mom was alive, she was disabled for the 12 years. She was on dialysis. And while she was alive, it was difficult. We have 7 siblings. It was difficult for the siblings to take care of her. So I became her caretaker. I was the daughter who supported her, who took care of her, who sat in the hospitals days and nights. And I was able to, God gave me the strength to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that I have food in the house for my mom when my mom comes from dialysis. I would go to work, I'll come back, I'll feed my mom, put her in bed, and then I'll go back to work. I do have a son. He took care of her as well. When he went to college, it was difficult. I was all alone. My poor son would take his classes out from the university, come back, and go to a community college to help us out. But when my mom passed away, my siblings all came together. There was no argument. We did prepare our finances for the final expenses. So there was no argument about money. There was no argument about who's going to bury her, how they're going to go bury her, how they'll do a fundraising. So there was no thing. It was very peaceful. We buried our mom and we fulfilled her wishes, wherever the church she wanted us to meet together to say the last prayer. And it was really easy because one thing, Lisa, I'm going to tell you, because money was not in the question.
Thank God. And
Thank God.
that's how we want things to go when our loved ones pass on. The Bible instructs us to do things in decency and in order. But in order to be decent and in order, we need to prepare for those final days, those final expenses, whatever expenses that your loved ones have left behind. If we start preparing now, then we'll be ready when those days come. Um, can you give us an example of the difference between whole life and term life?
Okay, so I work for Campa Life Insurance, and I do sell whole life and I do sell term life. There are some beliefs, okay, and I want to do morally the right thing for the people. I work in this industry to do the right thing so people don't get scammed and there's no lies around, and make sure that when somebody dies, that even I can rest peacefully too. I am thinking that I did the right job so that person can be laid in peace. Okay? So the whole life is whole life, which means there is it will not expire. It's something that's yours. It belongs to you. Whatever face value, for example, if you buy a face value of $25,000, and if that person gets deceased, you have the face value of $25,000. Even that person reaches the age of 80, 85, or 90. I do have clients that have reached the age of 96. God give them long.
Wow.
Yes. And the insurance is paid up because there was a policy called Pay Life 85. At the age of 85, it was paid up, but it is intact. So they still have their amount. So if something happens to them, they have the insurance. The insurance will never expire. This is called whole life. And with our company, Campa Life, the whole life has a cash value in there and a cash surrender. Someday you think, okay, you are fully prepared for the final expenses. You don't need this money. You can cash surrender the policy. But if you want to leave behind, you can make as many as beneficiaries you want. You can leave the money behind. But this is called whole life. So let me explain about term life. Term life is something that's term. That's for a certain amount of period. And most of the terms are at the age of 65. So when that, I'm just giving an example. If that age, you pass that age 65, that insurance policy expires. You do not have life insurance. Then you are thinking about, my God, I don't have a life insurance. At that age, you are 65 years old. Can you imagine? Of course, you can buy it. It's not that you cannot buy it. You cannot purchase a policy. You can buy it. But you are going to pay three, four, 5 times more than what you would have paid at the age of 20, 30, or 35 or 40.
Right.
So, so please do understand the difference between term life and whole life. Whole life is yours forever, and God give you life. You live 100 years and over. But when it's term life, at the term of that policy, the policy expires, and most of the term life do not have any cash value. So whatever you are putting in there, it does not belong to you. You cannot take it out. You cannot cash surrender it, or you cannot borrow or loan.
Okay, that is a lot to take in.
Yes.
Prayerfully, we understand that. And if there are any questions for any of our listeners, have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the comments. Um, I don't know how how a funeral goes in your culture, but can you explain that to us a little bit?
My culture, I am an Indian descendant. I was born and raised in Fiji. I was not born in India, but I was born and raised in Fiji. At the age of 18 years old, I came to US. So I've been here since then. It's been 30 years.
Hmm.
And by religion, I am a Muslim. So in my religion, we cannot hold unless it's a police investigation, unless there is a foul play or something, and legally they will not release the body. Otherwise, the minute the body is released by the doctors, the funeral takes place immediately. So if
Wow.
like my mom passed away a day before, so it was 5 o'clock, and the
Hmm.
next day at 1 o'clock she was buried.
Wow. Is there a reason? Is there a reason why it happens so quickly? Is that because of the religion, or why does it
we
happen so quickly?
we believe in foreclosure. We believe in the soul and body getting together and reuniting. So that's the only way to do is to give them a burial as fast as you can.
Okay. What about when you have people that want to come from afar to be there? They
Oh,
don't get an
there are
opportunity.
options. There are options. People who want to do that, they can hold it. They can hold it, but most of the time, people will do as fast as they can. But yes, there are some sons and daughters, some close relatives. They hold it. I'm not saying that it's not an option. There is an option.
Okay. Now, when you had done it for your mom, you did it the next day.
We did it the next day.
Nobody had a problem.
Nobody had a problem. Actually, my mom was sick, so my family kind of knew. The doctor already gave us a notice. So my mom had a family, most of them in Canada, so they were already here. So our family was already here, all surrounded to the nearest hotels or relatives' houses. So it was really we made it. It was easy. It was easy at the time.
Well, I thank God for that. I never knew about the Muslim religion, but I see you guys got it all worked out, and it's for the good, because if it happens quickly, then it's like it was very successful, right?
Yes, it was successful. The only way you can be successful is not only Muslim religion, and it's not all Muslims are successful as well. So I just want to say everybody can be successful if you put a plan. If you put a plan, if you don't have a plan, then you will be running around and you don't know what to do, where to go, and where how to do it. But if you have a plan, it will just fall in place. And I am an insurance agent. I do not insure most of the Muslims. I'm not Most of the Muslims are not my clients. My clients are Americans. They have a plan and they have a policy. The minute they call me, I put it in place fast because they are under distress. They're so stressed out. They don't even know where the policy is because that insured, that grandma or their mom or their dad never told the children where the policy is. The only thing is they know they were insured with us. The minute I get the call, I just tell them, do not worry about it. Everything that is in my care, I will take care of as soon as I can. I'll call my office, home office, if I have the policy in my own hands, because I do have an iPad, I do have access to a lot of things. I will access it right there. I'll give them all the numbers and anything that I could do to make it as easy as possible for them on my side.
Well, I am so grateful for you. Many of you do not know, but this is my mother's insurance agent. And gratefully and thankfully, my mom has been with Miss Imani, Tasman Imani, for 12 years. And I have never experienced losing a mother. My condolences to you on losing your mother.
Thank you.
And I just hope and I pray that if the Lord doesn't take me first, that it will be just as easy for me through you. I
Lisa,
will.
I promise you I'll make it as easy as I can.
Okay, and I would like to know if there was a very special message that you would like to leave for our listeners, what would it be?
To my listeners, I'll say plan your future. Don't be caught off guard. There is a lot of people will say, I'm not dying tomorrow. Death is in the hand of God. Do we know are we going to die? Nobody knows when are they dying. And nobody knows how long is their life. So be prepared. Please be prepared. Be prepared for your children. Be prepared for your family. Be prepared for your relatives. And be prepared for your friends as well. And spread the word around to be prepared.
Very good. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just as you were saying that, I was thinking, do you have a policy for pets?
No, we don't. No, I wish we always talk about it, we laugh about it, but we don't, unfortunately.
Yes, many of us Americans, we take our dogs, our cats, and we just bury them out in the backyard and put a cross up there, and that's it, and that's all.
That's what my son
So,
says. Mom, what we are gonna do with our dog?
yes. So, this is going to conclude, but before you go, I would like for you to tell our listeners, our viewers, how they can get in contact with you in the event that they would like to purchase a policy.
So my so my phone number is 310-880-6867. Let me put it here as well. 310-880-6867.
And her
And
name
you can
is
always my name is Tasmin Imani.
spelled
Tasmin, Taazmin. And my
Imani.
email is timani@kempa.com.
Thank you so much. And to our listening audience, those who are hearing us in regards to this burial and final expense podcast, I would like to thank you for listening and joining us and being here with us today. I do pray that you have gained some valuable information. And if you are not prepared for your final expenses or burial, I would suggest that you get with Miss Tasmin Imani and she will get you going. So welcome and thank you so much for visiting today here with Triggered Reactions Conquered. I am Lisa Hopkins and I welcome you to come and view any of our The Crew podcasts. We have an episode nightly at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I thank you, Miss Angela Thomas Smith, for being my background and making all this possible. Thank you all so much for visiting with us on today.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Miss Tasmin.
And also I want to let you know that when I listed my number in my email, you don't have to. If you don't wish to buy a policy from me, you don't have to. But if you need advice, if you need to talk to me how to do it, please call me. I will be more willing to help you out.
All righty.
Thank you to all the listeners as well.
All right, and thank you, Miss Imani, for coming on and sharing with us. We appreciate you and we love you with the love of the Lord.
And
God bless.
and I love
God
you
bless
too.
all of our listeners. Amen.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Triggered Reactions with Lisa Hopkins, where we explore our ability to overcome our trauma. Welcome.